Our journey was certainly unexpected. It's something I never thought that we would have to encounter. But Matilda, I had ruptured membranes at 23 weeks. Matilda was born at 24 weeks. She made it by 1 hour by emergency cesarean with no labour. She was resuscitated, incubated, and obviously rushed straight into the NICU, where she spent the next 5.5 months. And being born at that gestation, I think, comes with its, its regular things that happen to a baby at that time. And she had a number of respiratory issues going forwards and backwards, and chronic lung disease, and going on and off incubation and CPAP. And she had renal failure at day 24, and at day 28 she had her first neck surgery, 28 centimetres of bowel removed. And from there it was a very slow process to get her to tolerate milk, with lots and lots of green stuff coming out of her venting tube. But the doctors were extremely patient, and finally she tolerated milk, and we slowly graded her up. She's a pretty amazing little baby and very resilient, and made her way through all that. But the time in the NICU, it was full on. It was hard work. I was there every single day for rounds, morning and afternoon, where I could be. Try to understand what was going on, try to manage it all, stay positive. I think is probably one of the biggest things about being in a NICU. There's a lot going on around you, but you've got to stay positive and hope that she's going to come out okay. And I'm extremely fortunate because she's doing so very well. And one of the things in a NICU that I think you should be aware of for people in the NICU is that parents can see what's going on in the NICU. They can see all the families around them, and sometimes it's not so good. The outcomes aren't as pleasant, and some children, and they've got things going on that are way worse than your child. Possibly not on that day, but staying positive is pretty important, and doing whatever you can with your baby when you can. Not every day you get the opportunity, but things like doing skin to skin with your baby, that was so important for us. It was definitely my favourite time of the day. It took weeks before I could hold Matilda, and when I did, it was pretty sensational. So doing skin to skin for us was something that was pretty special. I think we held a record one day. We did 6.5 hours because we couldn't move. We were kind of locked in, but it was 6.5 great hours for us. So reading was fantastic. We read every day. I had a stack of books under her giraffe bed and in my locker. Even confinement holding, we just did confinement holding so much, and I think it made a massive difference. So I think whilst everyone's NICU journey is different, and parents have different levels of interaction and different levels of feeling comfortable, walking down and taking most of your clothes off and coming back in a white robe and walking down the hallway. It's a bit weird, it's a bit unusual, but you know what? The more you do it, and the more other people in the NICU do it, it becomes normal. And when people understand the benefits, I think, of skin to skin, I think that it definitely pays off. But look, our NICU journey was, looking back, I think it was pretty amazing. At the time, it was a pretty tough call, but I'm pretty grateful for all of it. A good day was any day that Matilda was making progress and we were moving forward. A good day was getting good test results back. A good day was coming in the morning, having a great handover, knowing what was going to happen. A good day was getting to do skin to skin. A good day was doing cares and being able to participate in any way, feeling useful and doing something and not just sitting there looking and staring at her. A good day was when green aspirates stopped coming out of her stomach after weeks and we knew that things were improving. And a good day is when they do rounds and say everything's good here, we can move on. There's lots of things that make up a good day. A bad day was when things that were unexpected happened that weren't the best things. So, turning up and finding out Matilda was getting transferred to another hospital for a surgical consult, and within 3 or 4 hours was in surgery for over 6 hours. That wasn't happening the night before. It was a big deal. It was horrible. Being in surgery longer than what she should have been. She had 4 surgeries, some of them way over time because I had to go and redo things. That's scary. Surgery is really scary. Especially when your baby's so tiny. Matilda was 590 grams when she was born, and these surgeries were being done when she was 3 weeks old. Yeah, not knowing things, waiting for test results, you know, you think the worst is a normal thing for you to do, but just, yeah, having surgery would have to be one of the big ones, and lack of communication, not knowing what's going on. We worked with so many people that cared for Matilda, and I think the biggest thing that helped was communication. And you knew your day when the staff member talked to you when you arrived. Even if you were there in the morning and you quickly went and got something to eat, when they came back that this happened and this has happened and this is going to be happening in an hour's time, or you know, there's an X-ray coming in, or whatever it might be. But keeping you up to date is because things change all day. So being kept up to date is a real big one, and having no surprises where possible would be one of the big. To hold Matilda until she was 2.5 weeks old. And the nurse said to me one day, "You haven't held Matilda yet, have you?" I went, "No, I haven't." And I wanted to hold her so badly. And she made it happen. She went and talked to some people. Yes, it took 3 nurses to get her out of her giraffe bed. She was fully incubated. She had PICC lines, cannulas, every limb was taken up. But they got her out of the bed. It was done with extreme care, of course. And I got to hold her for the first time. The time I had one-on-one care, and all the nurses got to know her really, really well. So when Matilda had someone new who didn't know her or wasn't familiar with the background, that was a little tough, because I found myself having to interject or explain things, or you know, say, "Oh no, that's because of this," or "Please don't do that because of this." And then probably the other thing is that it was really frustrating when notes weren't being observed. So, for example, with the developmental rounds, the OT would have notes at the end of the bed showing photographs of using a peanut pillow or a gel cushion. And I just got so frustrated when they just weren't being used or being rotated when her CPAP was being rotated. So Matilda was fortunate enough to have observations done twice, and the notes were available for everybody to make use of. And unfortunately, when they weren't able to be read and they weren't being utilised, it was really disappointing, because that was extremely beneficial for the nurses to be aware of all the things that really impacted Matilda. She had this strange thing where when she heard Velcro, she would flinch. It would really, really affect her, and I think that's from her CPAP being tightened and also her nappy. So when you changed her nappy, she'd actually flinch, and that was something that she didn't have to go through. And you know, it might sound really small and trivial, but you don't want your little baby who's there with all these things stuck in them going through another thing if they don't have to. The other thing was just not having confidence in the person taking care of your baby. And I know it sounds, you know, really awful, but not everyone has to start somewhere. Sometimes people don't have as much experience, but sometimes when you've got someone with not as much experience, they might not have as much confidence, especially with a baby so small. Matilda was pretty tiny. Quite fragile, so sometimes when you see things happen, it kind of makes you really uncomfortable. But in consistency, doing cares, you know, I got taught how to do cares, start from the head and work your way down. Everyone's got different ways of doing care, and sometimes like, it's not how we do care, you've got to do this, we know you've got to do this, do our eyes, do a mouth, do a neck, do whatever we have to do. But so you're kind of changing the way you do things to kind of working with the nurse, but it's like just the consistency of caregiving. I think one of the biggest one is asking the parents how they're going and if they're okay. Some parents are going to answer, some parents aren't, but you know, just be persistent and ask them how they're going. A lot of parents don't have any people outside that actually understand what's going on. Unless you're there every day and it's your baby, people don't understand. They do. The nurses are there every day. They know better than anybody. They've seen it all. So to ask the parents how they're going, ask them, you know, is there anything you need? Is there anything we can do to help? Can we explain something to you? I know when Matilda was going through things, I didn't know what necrotizing endometriosis was. The first thing is to go and look on your phone and look it up. That's probably the worst thing any parent can do. You know, you'll be in the expressing room and there'll be mothers on their phone Googling whatever their child has. My words are always, why don't you ask a nurse or ask a doctor to explain it to you? It's so much better, and every baby's different, and they'll tell you exactly what's happening with your baby. So when Matilda had her first surgery, when they came out, the surgeon saw her before the surgery and explained to me that this was a very serious situation. And I was like, okay, I said, are you doing the surgery? He said, yes. I said, can you do it tomorrow? It was 6 o'clock at night. he said, no, I'm going to go and clear a theatre now, I'm taking her straight in. I was just standing there, I didn't know what to do. He came out 6 hours later, he had a piece of paper and he showed me a drawing of exactly what they did in the theatre. He showed me what they cut, where they cut, how much got taken out, 28 centimetres of the bowel. I instantly understood it because he showed me a drawing. So sometimes in the notes you can show the parents the drawings or explain it with a picture. Some of the neonatologists actually got out their phones and pulled out a picture of a heart valve closing and explained that to me when that was happening. I found whenever somebody explained something to me, it took away a lot of the fear and the unknown. So I think that's a real big one, to explain to the parents what's going on. I think probably one of the greatest things is to help the parents feel comfortable in the surroundings. When you walk in for the first time, not only is your baby in there and possibly in a giraffe bed with things stuck to them and monitors and beeping, all sorts of things going on, it's completely foreign. You see some parents coming through prior to the baby being born and they have a tour and they know what's going on. In my case, a nurse said to me on a Saturday afternoon when they knew something was happening, why don't you go online to YouTube and have a look at the video of our NICU so you know what to expect. I watched the video. I was there a few days later. It was nothing like it. It was very overwhelming. It was scary. It was noisy. There were people moving around. There were machines coming in and out. It's as well as it can be as far as being organised, and it is for it to run functionally. It's hectic, and it's there's rounds going on. There's specialty teams coming in. It's very overwhelming. Also for the parents, they're trying to focus on their baby, but then something else is happening that distracts them. I really try to keep to myself and stay in our little section, but over time you get to know people and you get to say hello and what have you. But it's somewhere where you're visiting, somewhere where you're going through. So you're not entirely comfortable, you don't know where to sit, you don't know where to put your water bottle, you don't want to touch anything. You're very uncomfortable. It takes a long time to feel even slightly comfortable, and a lot of people aren't there for that long. So to make the parent feel comfortable, to say to them when you're doing the handover, when they arrive, what are your plans today? Are you going to do skin to skin? What time would you like to do that? How long do you like doing skin to skin for today? Or, the baby might not be well enough, so let's stick with confinement holding, whatever it might be. But to understand that the parent every parent's different, just like every baby's different. Some are forthcoming and they'll be quiet, I want to do this, and other parents, they're too scared to ask. So every parent's different. Do what you can to make them feel as comfortable as possible, in which in most cases I was made to feel so comfortable. But to enable them to care for their baby as much as possible, whether it be doing their cares, helping with the bath, getting their milk ready for the pump, or whatever it is that their baby needs, but just to make them feel comfortable and as positive as possible.